young and really young. So nice. Well, thank you so much. I hope that you're enjoying these authors. There's so much to learn through the wisdom, and you can see the passion and the life experiences that these authors are bringing in. And I know that they would love to be able to have just talk with you and share their heart personally with you. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Absolutely. I'm honored to join as a guest co-host tonight. My name is Bria Yamat, and I am the reigning Miss Hawaii USA.
Have you ever heard of this thing called generational curses? Did your parents ever say, boy, you got that from your father? That's that temper. You got it from, you got it honestly. Well, our next author is James. We'd love for you to start coming up. James is going to talk about how, from political issues that are going on in your family, getting sideways with each other, and loss that you're going through, different things that have been passed down emotionally, generationally. He's going to help you learn possibly to identify what those are and to how to break those chains. Welcome.
Please welcome James Maiwurm with his book called Inheritance of Crises and Dysfunction. Give it up for James.
James, it's so good to have you here. Thank you so much. Let's have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. Inheritance of Crisis and Dysfunction. Where did that come from? Where was the seed planted for this book?
Well, it was planted 4 or 5 years ago as I was struggling with the idea of retiring. I grew up as a workaholic. Is that better?
Yeah.
It's probably too bad for you.
No, we're enjoying this.
But anyway, I probably grew out of my experience 5 or 6 years ago when I was facing retirement, which for a workaholic, a confirmed workaholic, is a hard thing to deal with. And then I was also thinking about what is it that I want to leave behind, have something to have an effect on, that affects what we're worried about in terms of family. And in my case, the family is not a crisis, it's an opportunity. And all of us, or many of us, grew up with our parents saying to us, we want the world to be better for you than it was for us.
Right.
That's not going to be true in all cases. It's not going to be possible in many cases now. But you worry about what can we do now while we're still around in order to enhance the opportunity for success of our families, of our countries, of the world for that matter. Because we all live in one big world, and I believe it's going to be one thing that affects us all over time in any given period of time. It could be what's going on today, it could be what's heading, of course, tomorrow, but you really do worry about, what can I do to make it better for my kids and my grandchildren as I head toward the end of life.
Jim, let me ask you this. You talk about dysfunction, making the world a better place, breaking that cycle of crisis. What is the number one thing that you can say is common ground with all of them? How, if we were to take one thing away from this book, what can we change about ourselves? What can we do? What can we bring to our attention to change this?
I think there'll be a couple of sentences in response to that. One is we need to be more apt to listen to one another than to holler.
Listen instead of hollering.
We need to be centering our efforts toward the middle of the political classes in the political world rather than on the fringes. Imagine the world was a UK soccer field or an American football field. If we wanted to be successful in convincing others to be worried about the kinds of things that some of us are worried about, we want to say, look, you want to be playing between the 40-yard lines, probably between the 30-yard lines, because that's the middle of opportunity for agreement on things.
Because you're reaching people on common ground, right?
Well, you're common ground and you're listening to them as well as talking to them. And you're going to them with a spirit of compromise recognizing that not everybody is going to be able to do all the things that they want to accomplish. Not everybody is going to agree with what you have to say. But if you cannot reach that middle ground, we're all in trouble, because there are some things that just aren't going to go away. And I think, a lot of things, think about, where we were 5 or 6 years ago with a new president, with the Black Lives Matter, with the Middle East being in torment. You pick any number of things that were troublesome. They're still troublesome today. They're going to be troublesome forever. But we need to try to, tamp down the noise and dig out the future.
It feels like a message that's being shared here today that's pretty consistent, is everybody wants to be seen, everybody wants to be heard. We need to take time to lean into what people are saying and actually listen and be others focused. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, you have to be a listener, but with respect. Because if we're having a discussion, whether it's the peace talks in the Middle East or something else, if you don't have respect for the other party to the discussions, if you're on the edge as opposed to somewhere in the middle where you can fashion compromise, you're in trouble. And I think the world needs to understand that we as individuals, our friends, our people, and our colleagues from around the world are not so much different than we are. One of the things, I did a lot of international travel when I was really working. But one of the things I found was that people around the world are pretty much the same once you get down to the core. There are different flavors of frosting on those people, and you eat them differently. But they are everybody. What do they want? They want to have peace to live in. They want to have an opportunity to be successful. They want an opportunity to do better by their children and their grandchildren. They want the environment to be safe. They want things.